Alright guys, so today we're going to be going over how to assemble your x-ray ring. So let's go ahead and get started. So we have three different colors. First we have red ones for bite wings. We have blue ones for anterior periapicals or PAs. And then we have yellow for posterior PAs or periapicals. So we're going to go ahead and push these to the side for now. We'll start with the bite wings. So first we have the bite tab right here. This is going to be where the patient is actually going to be biting down, and I'll show you guys that in just a second. This is going to be the arm. And this is the aiming ring. Easiest way to remember this is every time we take an x-ray, we go to the bar. B-A-R. All right, so let's go ahead and start assembling them. The easiest way to remember how to assemble these is, I think of this as a whale tail. So if your whale tail is pointing up out of the water, I like to think of this as the body of the whale. I know that sounds really weird, but go ahead and put it in like that. And then the ring, there's two sides. There's a small side and there's a larger side. So the small side goes in like this. You can think of this as the head of the whale, if that makes sense to you. And that's how you assemble a bite wing. So I'm going to go ahead and put that to the side for now, and then I'll show you how to assemble it on a tripod in just a second. So next we're going to move over to the anterior. And a lot of the times these arms have colors, but over time sometimes the color disappears or wears out. So always try to remember what the arm looks like. Try to remember that instead of just relying on the color. So this one, I like to think of it as a director's chair. So if this is the chair, it's right here, this is a chair. And I'm right-handed, so once you pick a side, you stick to the side. So it's easiest for me to just put it on the right-hand side, right here. Like so. Same thing, small side and a large side. Small side goes in. And you can always check to make sure that it's placed correctly. If you look through the ring, it should be perfectly centered. You can see that? All right, those are our interiors. Put that to the side for now. We always save the best one for last. So this one's going to be, a lot of times the posterior is pretty tricky for some people just because this is the one that we kind of have to change depending on which side of the mouth we're on. So same thing, director's chair. Again, I'm right-handed, so I always work on the right side, but once you pick a side, it's always easiest to stay on that side. So same thing, right side. Again, small side, large side, but this one, instead of pointing up, it actually points to the left. Again, you can check to make sure that it's perfectly centered. And then this is when I will pull out the typodon. And I'll go back to the bite wings and the anterior in just a second. But as you can see, if we place them on our tripodon, we're going to have them bite. So we're doing 1, 2, and 3. And another trick to remember is the arm is always going to be pointing out. You're never going to have it like this. The patient's going to be biting on the arm. Okay. And then for the premolar shot, we're just going to scoot it up a little bit and angle it. Have them bite down. Now we always like to work smart, not hard. So instead of sticking to the same side of the mouth, we're actually going to jump over here on the opposite side and do this side. Have them bite. And then for the premolars, we're going to scoot it forward and kind of angle a little bit because we want those open contacts. So now for the other side, The easiest way to do this is you take your ring out. You want the least movement as possible. So if you take your bite tab out, just flip it upside down. Keep the arm on the same right side. Now instead of the small side, we're doing the large side. Again, you can check to make sure that it's perfectly centered. And we're gonna stick on the same side of the mouth instead of going back and forth. It's the quickest, most efficient way to do it. So now we're gonna do our upper. Notice how the arm is, again, pointing out. So we're gonna do 14, 15, and 16. And then scoot it forward, angle a little bit, 12 and 13. So instead of changing this 4 times, you only change it once. Do 30, 31, 32. Scoot it forward, angle a little bit. Get the premolars, 28 and 29. So that's for the posterior. So let's go ahead and do placement on the anterior now. So we're going to start with 6 and 7. So you want to place it pretty centered on there. Have the patient bite down. Oops. It's a little bit easier on an actual patient because you can kind of have them bite 8 and 9. And then 10 and 11. Then you're going to jump down to the mandibular. We're going to do 22 and 23. 24 and 25, and then 26 and 27. And finally, for bite wings, we always save the easiest for last. And another way to kind of make sure that you're on the right track is that the arm is always going to be pointing out. So we're going to start over here. Patient bite. Doing bite wings on 1, 2, and 3, 30, 31, and 32 for molars. And slide across and kind of keep it angled. We're going to do the premolar shot, 4, 5, and 6, 27, 28, and 29. Premolars. 12, 13, 20, 21, and 22. And finally, all the way back, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And just to wrap this up, I'm going to show you really fast how to put the sensors in. So the easiest way to remember this is the sensor, the wire always goes in the direction of the arm. So if you notice on these bite tabs, they move. So you take the sensor, the flat side goes down, push it up, like that. thing with the anterior. Right tab moves, push it up. The arm is always going in the same side as the wire. And finally, posterior. So tab moves, push it up. And the wire is going the same side as